a lot of you guys have helped me with that account. For those of you who don't know, this client is very, very particular. He's not sold easily, but he got sold on this. And the way we did it for him, which I think makes sense, for most businesses, quite frankly, is he has many spas, and he has his own receptionist, 3 of them actually, 1 per location. So whenever their office is open, the calls go there. And the way we set up his phone system is whenever all the phone lines are busy or all the offices are closed, that's when Smith.ai takes over. And then Smith.ai picks up the phone, and then they take down all the information, email him, and it'll also go into his CRM. So I think it is pretty brilliant. I think most of you people dealing with clients could agree that one of the biggest challenges, or one of the biggest reasons why maybe a campaign doesn't work, isn't even our marketing. It is the fact that they do not pick up the leads right away, and they miss phone calls, or there were another call, or it was a weekend and they never called back, etc. And Smith.ai takes care of all of that. Anyway, so again, I think this is one that could help a majority of our clients. Peter has been great to work with, and I will now give it over to him.
Awesome. Thanks, Mike. And can you all hear and see me okay? Perfect. If you hear some vocalization in the background, that's Cecilia, who is my cat and a terrible coworker. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up a presentation. I was telling some of the folks who were early arrivers, I'm going to go through a presentation a little bit more about our value propositions and features for Smith.ai. But what I hope to do is do that in 10 or 15 minutes, and then be able to get to any particular questions you guys have, or talk about individual clients you think this might be a great fit for. So that's my brilliant plan. Cool. Can you all see this presentation? If someone could vocalize yes or no?
Yes, we can see.
Awesome. Okay, cool. So I want to talk a little bit about our virtual receptionist services first. A lot of this is going to apply to live chat. But the value propositions for live chat are slightly different. To make it easier for you, I'm going to follow up with an email and with a doc that's going to talk about some of those propositions, some of the different features, and then it'll have the information about what your benefits are when you refer folks over, just so you have it all in one place and in the email, so it's searchable in Gmail. But the long and the short of it is this. For call answering especially, businesses are kind of caught between a rock and a hard place. We know that 82% of customers want an immediate response to a sales inquiry. If they're going to spend money with you, logically speaking, they do not want to wait for you to give an answer in sort of your own good time to a question that they have. Now, that's obviously a challenge. That means that somebody needs to be there to answer the phone. For a lot of small or even medium-sized businesses, you probably deal with this. It's the person running the business, or it's somebody who might be on a sales team. We work with a lot of lawyers. Often it's a paralegal. When we work with doctors' offices, often it's a nurse. This is not necessarily what you want them to be doing with their day, but somebody has to pick up the phone, because otherwise you're going to miss out on new clients. People want to be contacted immediately. And that's a big part of the reason why, when you're doing PPC ads or you're trying to improve web presence for some of the folks you might be working with, you can send all the traffic to them that you might want, but if no one's there to answer the phone, and if there's no web chat available to answer their inquiries, people aren't going to be, people are going to move on to the next one. People are going to go forward. But you understand where the folks that you're working with are coming from. Spam calls are doubling every year, 55 billion in 2019. I would imagine it's even, hi Cecilia, I would imagine it's even more going into this year. So it's a big part of the reason why, according to our research, less than half of all the calls that go out to small or medium-sized businesses are actually answered, specifically answered by a person. And it's a really big problem. You're not going to buy from a robotic answering service. You're not going to click 3 to give your credit card information, right? So what do? The answer, we think, is to bring in a service, as Mike said, exactly like Smith.ai. one that's a high quality call and chat answering service that can actually give a kind of in-house feel to the people that you're talking to without you having to worry about whether you're chained to your phone, whether somebody's gone to the bathroom, whether somebody's taken a day off, et cetera, et cetera. What's great about this is that not only are we 24/7, so we can cover everybody, but our receptionist, as Mike noted, it kind of has virtual receptionists often kind of have a reputation of being cheap and not that high quality. And part of that's because you get a kind of call center environment where it's catch as catch can. We're actually totally cloud-based as a company. We got rid of our office back in April, and all of our receptionists have always worked remotely. So we can hire the best folks no matter where they might be, and utilize kind of the entire US and North American talent pool to recruit for our receptionists. And we are entirely North America based. That's something a lot of folks like about us as well. Our folks are in the United States, Canada, and Mexico, and we are fully English-Spanish bilingual as well. So what that means is that we can actually answer those phones 24/7. And so your clients are going to get more business from the call answering, while at the same time, actually having less stress and more time to do their job, which is pretty cool, I think. Before I go on to talk about chat a little bit, any questions about that so far? You can feel free to just unmute yourself or put it in the chat.
No, thank you.
Nope.
Perfect. The value proposition for chat's actually pretty straightforward. I don't know if you've ever used, and let's see a show of hands actually. Who's used live chat on a website of any kind? Am I safe in assuming that you were either an upset cable customer at the time, or you were looking to buy something? Come see, come saw. Okay. What we have found with our research is that the vast majority of people who chat into a website are actually people who are not current clients. So chat is essentially just a pure funnel of people who might want to buy whatever it is you're selling, unless you are a cable company, in which case you've probably got bigger problems. So that's what's really cool. And a lot of them are unique users. We did some market research that suggested a minimum of 14 to 15% of that you would have a minimum of 14 to 15% increase in unique leads generated by adding chat. So, and for some industries, it was actually quite a bit higher. These are people who are not going to find you anywhere else. So you can so if you don't have chat on your website, these people don't call you later. They just go off into the ether. And that's a pretty cool feature of chat, is that it is simply adding a functionality to your website that you don't otherwise have that just brings in leads. It's just entirely new leads who, by the way, can then call you and actually talk to somebody if you pair your live web chat with Smith.ai call answering, if it's somebody who doesn't want to do web chat. We even have a feature where someone can put on their web chat a click to call button. So they can actually request a call through their live chat if they're getting to a point where they're like, I want to talk to somebody live. I'm not getting, either I want a more, I want human interaction or a more personal interaction, I should say, or what have you. But our live web chat is, again, 24/7. It's fully staffed. And through we actually use a neural network to make it fully instantaneously English-Spanish bilingual. So it is able to translate in real time folks who are Spanish-speaking customers, so that they are able to communicate even with an English-speaking receptionist, which is really, really cool. Questions about that?
Not at the moment.
Cool. And so the objective is not just call answering. And I think that's really the thing I like to drive home to folks. We provide call answering, and that's a critical service, but really it's about business enablement and sales enablement. We're going to help you spend more time actually doing the business that you specialize in, and we're going to help you get more sales while you do it. More new leads, schedule more appointments, because we can do features like appointment scheduling or even payment processing. And we're going to help you bring in more folks, even while we save you time. So it helps essentially square the circle. And not a lot of features are like Smith.ai in that they give you more time and at the same time get you more business. It's usually that you have to have a trade-off one way or the other. So when I speak to folks, that tends to be an extraordinarily powerful pitch point that they really like to look at, because it's not something you would intuitively think. You usually think, oh, well, you're just going to field the people calling me asking me to update our long distance. We will do that. And we'll do that for free, actually. We block spam and sales calls totally free. So that's not part of what anybody's going to, that's included in what they would pay for, but you don't have to have a bigger plan to deal with spam. We cover that free of charge, those calls. But it also is an opportunity for us to help you build your business and serve your customers, serve your potential customers better. And I talked a little bit about how we're backed by AI. I think this is a cool point to speak on a little bit more in detail. For our call answering, that actually helps a lot with the spam and sales call blocking. We have a database that has, I believe now, 1.5 million phone numbers in it that are known spam phone numbers that we can block automatically. And we're able to add to that. And we can also apply predictive techniques to that database so that we can see numbers that are coming from likely spam sources and mark those a little bit more proactively so that we're able to block spam very efficiently, which is why we can do it for free for other folks. On the chat side, we actually can build an AI chatbot that somebody that you're working with can use for lead intake. And it can be either an entirely automated chatbot, or it can be a chatbot that leads into a live chat interaction. And that allows us to do essentially an unlimited intake process for the live chat. So we can ask a lot of different questions. We can go into a pretty deep level of detail, depending upon what the client you're talking to is going to want, depending upon what their needs are. Do they want to schedule more appointments? Are they just trying to get more people out of their CRM? Are they just trying to track who clicks on a Facebook ad? Chat and chatbot can help with all of that. And I already mentioned the live English-Spanish translation, which is really, really cool. And we do Facebook messages. We do SMS. That's included as part of the live chat. You don't have to pay separately for that if you're a Smith.ai client, which is really, really cool. Your chat package is going to include those different channels if you'd like us to, and we answer them in exactly the same way. Questions about any of that? I've been able to alt-tab, so I've been able to catch some of the head nods. Cool. So just to talk a little bit more about some of the features that we offer, the custom greetings and custom call routing. We can send calls to a number of different transfer destinations and a potentially unlimited number of transfer destinations, depending upon what a client might need. And all of the services that we do are actually per call, and they're all a la carte. So anybody that you're talking to about Smith.ai, they're only going to pay for the services that they actually are going to use. We don't charge you for appointment scheduling unless you want appointment scheduling. We're not going to say, oh, you have to pay 20 bucks a call or 20 bucks a chat, and then we give you all these bells and whistles you don't use. You basically get to pick and choose. We will do lead qualification. We can do different levels of intake, but we're going to capture on every call and on every chat a name, an email address, and if you like, a phone number. We don't always do that. Some people don't want a phone number to be captured, but we will if you ask for it. I already mentioned appointment scheduling. We can even do outbound callbacks to different leads who come in from different sources, and we can log in that information to almost any CRM. So, well, almost any might be a bit of a stretch. So let me walk that back. We do natively integrate with Salesforce, HubSpot, Clio. We integrate with ActiveCampaign, and if they can use a Zap, we can integrate with them as well. So if there's a Zap that's available, we can typically integrate with that CRM. And then we will look at other integrations as time goes on for certain clients, depending upon what they want, what they need, and what our availability is. And I mentioned 24/7. Our agents are North America based. I believe our chat is actually fully 24/7. We do have a few days that we're closed for the call answering, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, and 4th of July. We're compatible with almost all VoIP software. Most of the big VoIP softwares that are out there. Our live chat is compatible with most web hosting services, Wix, Squarespace, WordPress. We can do alerts via email and Slack, and SMS. And we do offer different dashboards so that your clients can look at their call analytics, see how many calls are coming in, how many are from new leads, how many of them are from existing clients, and you can break down a lot of that data to look at the effectiveness of the work that not only they're doing, the work that you guys are doing to help enable their new leads. We have a partner portal that helps enable that I'm going to talk about in a second. We do offer free trials, so it's 20 calls or 20 chats for up to 14 days for anybody that you bring in. And then there's going to be per call or per chat pricing based on their usage. And that can change month to month. We don't require that folks sign any kind of contract. If they do want to do an extended contract, we'll give a discount on their services of up to 15% for doing that, but it's not required. So you can start small and scale up if you need it, as long as you give about 7 days notice to us. The partner program, I'm sure Mike has talked a little bit about. For you folks, we are going to offer for the first client you refer to us who actually converts to becoming a Smith.ai client, a paid client, we're going to give you a $100 Amazon gift card in addition to the spiff that Mike's going to offer you as part of our partnership agreement. So you've got a cool opportunity there to get a little something extra. And I saw a chat. That's right. So that commission, and Mike can give you the details about how the commission structure is going to work on your end, but that gift card will go directly to you. And that's probably going to be something I'm doing manually. Trust me, I will not mind. So please feel free to take advantage of it. By the way, I talked a little bit about the integrations. The folks that you're talking to about Smith.ai, they'll also get $100 off their first month's bill. They'll get a free CRM, and they will get a free AI chatbot, even if they're a call answering client. You know, we will build an AI chatbot for their website that will give them unlimited chats through the AI chatbot and up to 5 questions in the call flow. So they can actually put that on their website without having to pay anything. And even if they don't move on from the trial, they can keep the chatbot and they can use it as a lead generation tool, which is really neat. Any questions about any of that? We're in the home stretch on the presentation.
Nope.
Cool. All right. This is kind of the basics of our bill. We're going to work with the folks that you refer to give them, in most cases, a custom plan based on the services and the features that they use. So if they use appointment scheduling or don't, if they have extended intake or not, if they have additional transfer destinations, that'll play into it. And we can actually scale the per call pricing based on what their usage is, down to a relatively small degree. But per call pricing is typically going to be $5 to $7 as a base price. And then appointment scheduling, for instance, is an extra $1 a call. Extended intake is an extra $1 a call. An additional transfer destination is a flat $10 per month. But the chatbot is free, 24/7 services are free. If you have chat and want to add Facebook Messenger, or you want to add SMS, that's free too. We talked about some of the add-ons. And this is actually the portal that we'll build for you guys as we start to get a larger number of clients in. And Mike, this might be something that you'd like to manage on your end. But basically, the portal will allow you to look at some of the information for the referred clients, if that's something you'd like to do, and then use that information to kind of apply, kind of understand if we've done a certain ad campaign for a certain client for a certain month. Hey, are we getting more new leads from that? Or are we getting the same mix of new leads to existing clients? And so you'll be able to use a little bit of that data for both virtual receptionists and for live chat in one place to look at the effectiveness of the work you're doing for them and actually, change and potentially change up what you're doing in response to that data, which is really neat. And that'll, like I said, you'll be able to see the call logs. For chat, your clients are actually, and you are actually able to get the transcripts of every chat. So you could potentially do text analysis on those transcripts to see, it's an easy example, but if people are more likely to be searching car crash rather than auto accident for a certain type of client, you can change the advertising, the PPC or the SEO that you're doing to reflect that based on that information, which is pretty cool. And obviously, we provide that full support. So I'm your contact if you need help selling Smith.ai, and Valerie is your contact to get folks set up. You will literally just make a warm handoff to myself and Valerie. Obviously, I'm going to email you afterwards so you have her information. And then we will be able to get those clients set up and get them working so that after you've told them about Smith.ai and gotten them to the point where they're like, I might do a free trial. I'm seriously thinking about this. Then we can kind of take it from you. And there's a minimum of extra work on your end in order to do that. And Valerie's going to be the person who works with them from the day they sign up forever. Well, maybe not forever, but I don't want to commit Valerie for that long. But she'll be the person who's kind of holding their hand throughout the process. And the sign up's pretty easy. As you have people come in, we can walk you through it, but we will basically be available to go through the setup form with them on the phone. Setup is free. And like I said, the trial is free too. If it's a high volume client, we can give an extended free trial as well to give them a little bit more time to judge our services. And that is the presentation for now. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and then we can open it up to actually a little bit of questions, and let you get those out. So feel free.
Hey guys, I'll talk for a minute, and while I talk, if you have any questions, put in the live chat, in the chat, Google Hangouts chat, and I will call on you. So I just want to reiterate, one of where I see kind of the best use case for it isn't even like all business phone calls go to Smith.ai, although it's possible, I'm sure they'd love that business, but where I think it is best is that when it is overflow and off hours. Whatever it is, you have a home contractor, you have a medical practice, right? Their phone line is busy. I don't know. We have a client, Air Duct Brothers. Literally, the phone calls go to one person. When he is on a call, they go nowhere, right? Smith.ai is very just clever the way they set it up. So I don't know, they like Ring Central or whatever phone system they have. We're even able to set up with Studio Aesthetics' very outdated phone system. Again, it's where I see the real value add is the phone lines are busy. That's when it goes to Smith.ai. Or, hey, someone calls on a weekend, on a Sunday, and a holiday. Again, the phone line is off. That's when it goes to Smith.ai, and that's where you kind of get that incremental value.
That's a really, really good point, Mike. And we can even be as granular with the overflow as deciding how many rings we want to give the call before it gets passed from the client's phone system to us. Like 2 rings versus 3 versus 4. They get to make that choice as we do the setup process, and they do that with Valerie, who does the real work while I flail my hands and try to sound fancy. But yeah, absolutely. After hours and overflow is something that we are more than happy to do. There is no different pricing for doing after hours and overflow only versus having the chat or the call answering enabled full time. Same with chat. It is entirely based on the number of relevant calls and relevant chats we take. And we actually capture the name and the email before a chat interaction happens. So it's essentially capturing that lead information before a relevant chat can take place, so that they will have that information that can go directly into their CRM right from the word go. And the same for the phone calls.
Cool. And then just last thing, I gave you guys like a link that you could click to, fill in the lead form, whatever. But I think with all of these, what works best is just a soft email, introduction. I am going to write you guys a template that you could send to your clients. You could use it or not use it. And again, I think the best way is to kind of toss it to them. Again, I think work the angle of if they've ever, especially if you do, by the way, phone tracking, you could look at the data and be like, well, listen, there are calls you can pick up. Here it is. If one missed call per week, pays for it, and then again, you only pay per when it's used, and then once they give kind of like that verbal maybe, send an email to Peter, CC Valerie. Peter's very good at the follow-ups. I think that would be the best path of conversion.
Yeah, absolutely. And if they're ready to go, I will make sure to send a link to my calendar and to Valerie's calendar. And you're welcome to just sign them up on our calendar in the moment if they're ready and stay the step. Feel free. We're here to support you guys and answer any questions you could have There are no bad questions. I've been here a year. I'm still asking all of them. So there's just a lot that we can do for folks, and even more than we will typically be able to talk about easily. So, I mean, to take an example, we can even set up through live chat a chat to client call where someone's chatting, wants to speak to someone at the client's office, and we ping the client over Slack or Microsoft Teams and say, hey, so-and-so is a potential client that wants to talk to you. Do you want to talk to them? Yes or no? And we can transfer the call directly to the person you're working with in that instant from the chat. So, I mean, even a use case like that is really pretty neat in terms of being able to just offer lots of different functionalities. And in most cases, if we don't do it already, we might build it. That's the entire reason we have chat. And that's the entire reason we have chatbot. Someone said, hey, we love your phone answering. It'd be really great if you did chat. And then we did. So that's pretty cool too, I think, as Mike mentioned. We have it all in-house. You don't have to have a separate chat service and a separate call service. You can do it all in one place. The pricing for the chat and calls is exactly the same. And you get a discount if you use both too.
Irina, thanks for the question. Can I pass it to you to read the question out loud?
Sure. That's a good question, actually. Hey, Irina.
Irina, go ahead.
I'm sorry, for some reason my laptop is very slow today. I don't know why. So yeah, as part of our SEO services, for example, we offer our clients these very detailed reports, and every month they can actually click around on links, and they can even listen to their own calls from our reports. Would that be possible with you guys?
Yeah, so I believe once we get you set up, and we usually will wait until we have 2 or 3 clients through you, but once we get your clients set up in our partner portal, then you would actually be able to log in through the partner portal and look at your clients' calls and chats each month and see who they're from. I don't know how they would integrate into your own reporting system. That's actually something Mike and I can talk about, though, because if it can, we'll do it. But you will be able to look at it at the very least, and you'll be able to export it into a CSV file, as will the end client. They'll be able to export it into a CSV file too.
Yeah, I'll answer it too. So if you use Dialog Tech, and we use Dialog Tech mostly, if we use Dialog Tech, so that Dialog Tech piece will still stay. So they'll still call the Dialog Tech number as they do now. It'll still get recorded in Dialog Tech. And then either in Dialog Tech or in their actual phone system is where it'll do the phone routing. You know, just like in Dialog Tech, we set up that, hey, this phone number routes to this system. They actually have inside Dialog Tech like I forget what they call it, but whatever, a more advanced phone routing that inside Dialog Tech, you could say that after 8 p.m. it goes to, or whatever the case may be, it goes to Smith.ai. What we did for Studio Aesthetic, though, is we did it on his actual phone system because we wanted to be not just our marketing phone calls, we want it to be every single phone call. So we did it at that. But again, if they use a Dialog Tech number, it still records at that level. That's a really good question. You know?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And to Mike's point, you can use they get to keep their phone number. We'll just forward it to our phone number. If they want a new phone number, we'll give them one. If they want to use multiple ones that route to us, we can do that too. We actually have some folks who will have us work on just marketing campaigns. So it's only a number that comes through a certain segment of ads that we answer, and the rest are routed to a different place. So you can do an A/B test as to determine the effectiveness of what we're doing, or even one platform versus another. So there's a lot that we can do with that. But yeah, they can get a new phone number. They can keep their phone number. We are agnostic. Cool.
Very
Any
cool.
other questions?
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome, Marina. Awesome. Well,
Yeah, hey, Peter, I was just curious, like, what industry makes up the majority of your guys' client base? Like, is it heavily slanted in any way, or?
Good question.
Yeah, you'd mentioned healthcare. That obviously makes sense to me. So I was just curious of, what I can.
That's a great point. We have a lot of lawyers and legal services clients. Yeah. We have a lot of home services clients. And we have a fair number of other professional services like IT services, areas like that. An increasing number of dentists, if you can believe it. Or maybe you can. I remember the last time I tried to make an appointment at a dentist, 8 calls later, my tooth still hurts. So it really does run the gamut. We can do answering for anybody. We have kind of a niche with lawyers. For whatever reason, I think it's that lawyers kind of have a high cost per lead and also hate the phone and talking to humans. And that's really our niche. It's like making money, don't like talking to humans. That's our ideal client. And the folks that we can usually serve. But there's very little limitation as to the clients that we can work with. One item I would just note is if you have medical clients or clients in the medical space, feel free to talk to me about those because obviously medical clients have very unique legal challenges versus a lot of other different types of clients. And that's something we always like to talk about. Lawyers do too, obviously, but those we just have a ton of different experience with. And we can handle pretty much anybody. But I always say for chat, it really is great if you want to drive more leads from a website and you're not. If they're working with somebody like you guys, the chances are it's not because the website's not good. It's not because the SEO or the ads are not good. It's because they're not pushing people who get to the website to do something. And they can actually control something as granular with our widget as who it says is answering. They can control the color scheme. They can control how aggressive the widget is. Does it pop up immediately? Does it pop up after 15 or 30 seconds? Does it pop up at all? They get to make that choice with the chat. So that's really for anybody who's trying to drive new clients from their site. For call answering, especially if they get a lot of calls after hours, plumbers, electricians, carpenters, folks like that, criminal defense attorneys. Crimes are not necessarily just happening between 9 to 5. Might need a lawyer afterwards. Those types of scenarios are really great ones. But we can work with anyone. It's just a matter of how many calls they get, how specific they want the answering to be, and making sure that it's a good fit for them. We want them to have a good experience and to feel like someone in their office is answering the call. That's our favorite. When we get feedback from folks, we get it on Clutch and Capterra. When they say, I didn't realize I was talking to a receptionist from a service. That's our goal for every single client. And that's why there's me and Valerie to help make that handoff as seamless as possible so they don't feel like it's a big hassle to get set up, especially as we get into the holidays and beyond. Yeah, actually, that's a note just before you talk, Dennis. If somebody's looking to get set up prior to the holidays, now is a great time, just so that there's not like that bottleneck as they get towards that point. Sorry about that, Dennis. Go ahead.
You're good. Thank you. A question regarding like seasonality. I have a client that their product, their service is very seasonal, heavy in the summers, and then it really dips towards, colder seasons, like pools, jacuzzis. And they do have a chat on their website, which is why I'm thinking of going to them with this. Is there a way that more so billing? This might be a question more appropriate, like not in this intro type of talk, but like turning on and off services. They might not need this when they're really in the office and working, but they might, turn it on closer to like October, November, something like now. Can you elaborate there?
Yeah, au contraire. This is the perfect time to ask. I live in Florida, so I am very familiar with those. I'm not as familiar with pool services as I would like to be, unfortunately. But so to change our billing structure, we basically need 7 days notice. And what we will typically do with our billing is we will price a plan based on an expected usage. So we might say we expect you to have 100 or 120 chats per month. We're going to charge you a flat bill of $600 for those chats, $5 per chat, which would be our lowest rate. If you go over that, there's no penalty. You just pay $5 per chat for the ones that you go over on, and that's it. And if you get to a month, you can come to us and say, I'm going to have a big drop this month. I want to drop my plan to 20 chats per month. We might quote you a slightly different per chat rate, and you might be running a little bit more risk that the overage is priced a little bit higher. So you're paying $6 or $7 per chat overage instead of $5, but you just drop that and you pay the lower bill. As long as you give us about a week's notice, we can get that set up at any given time. So that's not a challenge at all for us, really. Especially if it's a service like a pool service is a great example where it's pure seasonality. Like I can tell you exactly what months it's going to be And based on where they are, right? A pool service in Phoenix might not operate in the same months as a pool service in Tampa Bay, Florida. Certainly not the same months as a pool service outside, in Ann Arbor, Michigan, where they've probably already gone on to other things.
True. Sounds good. Thank you for that.
Cool. Thank you. That was a great question. Anybody else? Bueller? I don't know why I still do that joke. It's so dated, but I just can't help myself.
That's
It's
it.
a big
Only
dad
but
joke.
a goodie, Peter. Only but a goodie.
All right, awesome, Peter. I really appreciate it. I hope
Thank you,
some
guys.
leads will go your way. Thanks everyone for joining. Very appreciate it. Thanks everyone for keeping the webcams on. You guys look awesome.
Yes.
And see you guys next week.
Excited to get those Amazon gift cards out to you.
Bye, Peter. Thanks.
All right. Thank you all.
Thanks, Peter. Have a nice weekend.
Have a good weekend. Enjoy your Halloween.
Happy Halloween.